fixed returns and limit the downside. Join Ethan Clooney for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show, Saturdays at 7 a.m. right here on 98.9 FM, The Answer. You can also call Ethan Clooney now for your complimentary customized Safe Money Radio and Income Kit and Safe Money Radio and Income book at 844-319-SAFE. That's 844-319-7233.
Hey, welcome in. Thursday edition Bruce Hooley Show. Looking forward to talking with you. The music's playing, and let's kick it off and get going, shall we? Welcome in. Thursday edition Bruce Hooley Show. Final edition of the week, as tomorrow is Good Friday, and thankfully our company allows us to have that day off to commemorate, although sadly, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, and to focus on what that means to those of us who are counting on his death to atone for our sins and his resurrection to offer us the hope of new life, the guarantee of new life if you have accepted him as your Savior. We'll talk more about that as the show progresses today. We will update you with comments from the man who was shot in the face in a road rage incident yesterday morning on I-70 near downtown. We have further evidence that we have a lot of activist judges out there. You know about the one in Washington's District Court, James Boasberg. You may not know as much about the one right here in Ohio, Algernon Marbley, but he's back reminding us what a terrible train wreck he is and how agenda-driven he is. We have more, a lot more, information about the Democrats' new hero, an MS-13 gang member, and a wife beater, and the posturing by a Maryland senator to portray said illegal as the paragon of virtue. But let's start with our three-term mayor, shall we? Andrew Ginther, mayor of the city of Columbus, gave his State of the State address yesterday. State of the City address yesterday. Give him time. He'll run for governor eventually. It's probably term limited soon as Columbus mayor. But Andrew Ginther's speech yesterday about the state of the city was a typical Democratic speech. It identified a problem that's not really a problem. It asked for a lot of money to fix said problem, which will result, no doubt, in higher taxes in the future. And it created more government. So while we may disagree with his policies, no one can deny that Andrew Ginther is a Democrat to his core. He is proposing more government, as I said, the formation of a city division of housing stability, which will seek to protect tenants from bad landlords. Okay, I don't like bad landlords. But I'm going to go out on a limb since I have a buddy who is involved, I'll say. I don't want to identify him, so I'll just say he's involved in a lot of hearings in the legal system. I'm trying to think how I can protect his identity. A lot of hearings in the city's legal system about people who are being taken out of their homes because they don't pay their rent. There's a lot more of the people who don't pay their rent than there are bad landlords. But it's okay to get bad landlords under control. I don't object to that on its face. But we have a lot of people who are delinquent on their rent, and some of it could be legitimate. They could have lost their jobs or whatever. Which brings me to my thought of how the money that Andrew Ginther is asking for, which the Dispatch refers to because they're big Andy Ginther cheerleaders, as a historic $500 million, half a billion dollars in bonds, which is borrowing money, and then how will they repay it? Well, they'll repay it with the city's income tax or utilities revenue, which is, a plan that will result in, what do you think? Lower income taxes in the city in the future or lower utility prices? No. Will those city income taxes apply to citizens of the city of Columbus? Will those higher utility prices apply to citizens of the city of Columbus? I think they will. Now, of course, If you don't have a job, you don't have to pay income tax. And I bet a large portion of the city of Columbus residents don't pay income tax at all. Why? Because they don't have income, which would be which would be why I suggest that if you're going to spend $500 million in addition to the, let's calculate it up, shall we? $200 million in bonds that were approved in 2022 and $50 million in bonds that were approved in 2019, that maybe it's time to start spending some money on job creation. See, they have built, according to the report in the Dispatch this morning by Jordan Laird, and I have no reason to doubt him, they've built 4,000 income qualified affordable rental units. With the $250 million they've gotten in bonds approved since 2019. I averaged that out. $250 million divided by 4,000 apartments and rental units means that for every one of those rental units, they spent $62,500. It seems to me like you ought to be able to build apartments cheaper than that per apartment. I'm not up to date on the latest construction costs. I'm sure it costs a lot for permits and high rises and this and that and the other. But I would think when you build dwellings in close proximity to each other, that $62,500 implies to me that I might at least raise an eyebrow over the cost benefit of an apartment costing $62,500 per apartment. I would think you could build a tiny home, 1,000 square foot home for that, since you're building them in bulk and they're cookie cutter and all that. I don't know. I'm just saying, these are thoughts that I have. I'm not being overly critical of this. I'm just saying I don't think creating more government and asking for $500 million, which you will no doubt pay for with future tax increases or future utility cost increases, is a sound plan. And I don't know if this is divine intervention or if this is coincidence. But about 10 minutes before the end of Andrew Ginther's speech, the seal of the city of Columbus, which was adorning the podium at which he was speaking, the lectern at which he was speaking, the seal of the city of Columbus fell off and hit the ground with a thud. Kind of like Andrew Ginther's mayorship throughout the years. It's basically hit with a thud. Crime has become much worse in the city. Housing has become a much bigger problem, although not as big a problem as Andrew Ginther would have you believe it is. I cite the previous reporting of the Columbus Dispatch on affordable housing. Let's look at a story from Jim Weicker in February of 2024. He says that rental prices in the city of Columbus rose at the third highest rate in the nation in 2024. The rental prices went up 3.8%. Now that's not good, right? Our rental prices are going up 3.8%, third highest in the nation. Lends credence to the fact that, wow, Columbus rents must not be very affordable. Wait, March 21, 2023, the story from Jim Weicker, same reporter, he covers real estate and all that, says that renters in the nation's top 50 largest metro areas devoted an average of 25.3% of their income to lease a typical apartment or home. Columbus renters, however, spent 18.2% of their income to rent, the lowest amount of any city except Oklahoma City. So we have the second lowest in 2023 amount of income devoted to rent. So what has happened between 2023 and 2024 is that landlords adjusted their rents upward slightly, even though it ranked high in the country in terms of percentage increase year over year, we're still below the national average. And so this is the point I've made every single time affordable housing has come up. And the city fathers, that's probably misogynistic, but at any rate, the city leaders say that Columbus doesn't have enough affordable housing. And in particular, they cite communities like Dublin and Upper Arlington and New Albany and Gahanna, suburbs where people have fled, Linden, the Hilltop, and others, when they have jobs that they can afford to live out there. And you know how I know they can afford to live out there? Because there's nothing for sale out there and there's nothing for rent out there. So somebody can afford it. So the moniker of no affordable housing in Dublin, no affordable housing in UA, no affordable housing in New Albany is not true, because somebody's affording it. It's just successful people who have jobs. So if Andrew Ginther really wants to better the city of Columbus, he would, rather than try to spend on an issue down the road, we're going to make cheap homes and cheap houses, although I don't think $62,500 per apartment is very cheap. He would rather serve his constituents by establishing a jobs program for them.
This afternoon, high 65, cloudy tonight, and low 52. Partly sunny, windy, warm day tomorrow, the high up to 80. Saturday, clouds and breezy, shower and thunderstorm. We could see some strong thunderstorms, maybe even severe. The high Saturday at 71. Clouds and a couple of showers around on Sunday.
Got my pillow here.
Okay, thank you.
Sunny, windy for Monday at 72. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605. Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors. Ross Realtors will sell your home. It won't be listed long. Low listing fees, put your mind at ease. Tell me, how could you go wrong? Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors.
Are you thinking about selling your house and need help getting it ready? Hi, this is Ross Giorgio of Ross Builders. I will buy your house for cash. What? That's right, I'll buy your house for cash, as is and where is. That means no inspections, no financing. Take what you want and leave the rest. Call Ross Builders 614-599-6100. So don't worry about all those people calling you asking if you want to sell your house or all those postcards you receive in the mail. Call Ross Realtors 614-599-6100. That's 614-599-6100. Cash for your home.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. That comes with a lot of fine print, like requiring you to sign up for 4 lines, plus activation fees, plus. At the end of the day, you paid for that free phone 3 times over. Pure Talk, my sponsor and my wireless company, has a much better offer. With a qualifying plan of just $35 a month, you can get a brand new Samsung Galaxy A26 for free. This phone has virtually indestructible Gorilla Glass and captures beautiful wide-angle photos with next-generation camera lenses. All you need to do is switch to Pure Talk. For $35 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data with a mobile hotspot, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Dial #250 when prompted. Just say Mike Gallagher, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. That's #250 when prompted. Just say the keyword Mike Gallagher. Get your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan from Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans for Americans.
Are you among the millions of Americans living with chronic pain? Itself, you may think prescription opioids. Truth is, opioids can be nasty, and they come with serious side effects, from nausea to withdrawal symptoms to overdose. There is another choice: physical therapy. Physical therapists treat pain through movement and exercise. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com. This public service is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Well, MyPillow never tires of giving you big time price breaks on its products. They have a large allotment of bed sheets that were supposed to go out to a big box store. Big box store flaked on them, and so now MyPillow is offering those very same sheets to you at a massive savings. No middleman, so you're going to benefit. Wholesale prices on the Giza Dream and Percale bed sheets. Giza Dream queen size sheets, which are normally in the store $139.98 or on the website. Your wholesale price is half, $69.99. King size, only $10 more, $79.99. Now, the deals on Percale queen size sheets are even better. Typically, you would pay $89.98 or $90. What will you pay now? $45? No, you will pay $29.98. That's less than $30. King size only $34.98. So go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Bruce to take advantage of this tremendous pricing. The quantities are limited, so don't tarry. mypillow.com, promo code Bruce. Just a little more on the mayor's State of the City address. I know you're hanging on every word and the brilliance in the policies that Andrew Ginther is announcing. He's asking for $500 million in bonds, which will no doubt result in higher taxes and higher utilities because that's how they pay off bonds. He wants to build more housing, and he wants to give lawyers to delinquent tenants who do not pay their rent, which who's paying for the lawyers? Well, that's right, you are. With your tax dollars. He's launching the Division of Housing Stability, which he says will prevent evictions, improve housing quality, and ensure fair treatment for renters. Why do I think that the landlords are going to get the short end of the stick in this? Landlords are the ones who have skin in the game. They're the ones who own the buildings. They're the ones who have to maintain the buildings. And all they ask in return is that the people who sign a contract to pay a certain amount of money and maintain the structure, all they ask is that I'm telling you, no landlord is happier than when they have a tenant who pays their rent on time and does not damage the property. Someone who treats it as it is their own. That's the ideal situation for any landlord. And so Andrew Ginther is going to make it hard for landlords to get rid of bad renters. Now, why does the mayor believe he is justified in this? He says the mass evacuations of 2 big apartment complexes in the city due to serious city code violations and subsequent incidents played a role in his administration's decision to do more to protect families. Now, perhaps I will allow for the possibility that the landlords are at fault for city code violations. They are definitely not at fault for subsequent incidents. The landlord doesn't live there. The residents live there. So at least half the problem is the renter. And it's very possible that the city code violations resulted from the landlord not being notified that there was an issue that they needed to fix, or resulted from the renter not doing what I said before, treating the property as if it were their own. It's some of both. My guess would be it's at least as much an issue of the renter as it is of the landlord. Are there bad landlords? No doubt. There's bad everything. There's bad cops, there's bad lawyers, bad mayors, bad talk show hosts. It's bad everything. But Andrew's going to fix the whole housing situation by hiring a fair housing coordinator. Fair housing is a law. Nothing wrong with that. He will absorb several current employees in the Department of Development. Wow. You could hire new ones, you know. Loses a Democratic man card for that. And within the office, they will also have, of course, a homeless advocacy liaison. Now, Andrew says that they also will have a housing for all policy in the city that the city council has already approved, but not yet funded. Now you know that they are indeed, all Democrats in city council, passing something that they do not have any idea how they are going to pay for it. The other oddity in Andrew Ginther's State of the City address is that he, out of nowhere, voiced an aspiration for Columbus to emerge as the nation's capital for women's sports. Now, he, of course, would be an advocate of men playing women's sports, because if he is not an advocate for men playing women's sports, he will lose the support of the LGBTQ community, which is very large and very loud in the city of Columbus. He said he would like it if Columbus got a professional women's basketball team or a professional women's soccer team. I would have no objection to either, assuming that the players were actual biological women and not men masquerading as women. Enough of the mayor. I can't even do 2 segments on him. This is troubling. I don't know if this will help find this young boy, but CPD's issued an alert for a missing 10-year-old boy. His name is William Terry. He was last seen in the area of South High Street and Southgate Drive, wearing a dark gray shirt and blue jeans. He's 5 feet tall, weighs approximately 100 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Man, that's sad. I think I told you guys before, there was one brief, it was not brief enough, moment in my marriage where we could not account for the whereabouts of one of our children. It turned out to be innocuous. She was picked up by a family friend for something that we had on our calendar but had forgotten, and the desperation when a child is missing is a desperation nobody should have to go through. So I hope that that young man is found. We're also hearing from the man who was shot in the face yesterday in the road rage incident downtown. He gives only his first name to WSYX Channel 6. He has to be identified by his first name, Jesse. He says he has forgiven the person who shot him. That person is 33-year-old Dwayne Pittman, who fired a round at Jesse's truck, shattered the truck's window, and struck Jesse in the face. Jesse said, "I have a lot more in my life that I have to worry about, more important than being upset or mad at him. He made a choice and he has to live with that choice just as I have to live with this." He was in court yesterday when Mr. Pittman was before a judge and given a $500,000 bond. He's ordered not to possess drugs, alcohol, or firearms. That's probably a good idea. And the judge also granted a protection order for Jesse, the man who was shot. Pittman, it turns out, was employed by a subcontractor for the Department of Public Utilities Enhanced Meter Project. So a meter reader probably. The key word in that last sentence is was, as the company for which he worked confirms that he is no longer employed on the project. Yeah, shooting people should get you fired. Turns out Jesse is at a very difficult time in his life. He was on his way to chemotherapy for multiple myeloma. He says the brush with death that he experienced at the hand of Mr. Pittman has focused him on the preciousness of life and has advanced his agenda to complete his bucket list with his family, which includes a trip to Disney. I wish him well with that. I would rather not. I would rather he not go to Disney, but I certainly hope he has wonderful experiences with his family. I certainly hope that his disease is conquered and behind him soon.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump is slamming the Federal Reserve Chairman and hinting at possibly firing Jerome Powell. In a message online, the president criticizes the Fed for not lowering interest rates and says Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. Democrat U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland returns from El Salvador empty-handed. He had hoped to meet with and ultimately win the release of an imprisoned Salvadoran national who was recently deported from the U.S. A D.C. federal judge says he has found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt of court for failing to turn around planes carrying deportees to a Salvadoran prison. And watching Wall Street this morning, stocks have now turned mixed. The Dow is still down. It's off 459 points, but the S&P is 21 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
It bullied us.
It was a nightmare. We felt stuck.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy. And unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-989-1771. 800-989-1771. 800-989-1771.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM. The Answer, anywhere you go. The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optimum Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optimum Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Actual clients and restrictions. Details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Human trafficking is modern-day slavery, and it happens in our own communities. Victims can be any gender, age, or race. Join the Department of Homeland Security's boot campaign to learn how to recognize and report this heinous crime. Visit our website at www.dhs.gov/bootcampaign. That's www.dhs.gov/bootcampaign. Your second book.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I hope you'll join me every day, 11 to 1, for the Bruce Hooley Show. A lot of consequential issues that we have to talk about. It's a transformational time in our country. We want to understand all the issues. That's what I hopefully help you do. Bruce Hooley Show, 11 to 1, Monday through Friday on 989theanswer.com.
I told you for months about the Larry Elder event we're going to have at the Dirt Dutchman restaurant just over a week from now, week and a day from now. Larry Elder will be in. We're going to try to make connections with Larry and have him on the show next week to preview his visit to Plain City. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, we're happy we sold it out. We're just, it's unfortunate if you didn't get tickets, but we have another contest for you to enter and hopefully win in advance of our next station event. Keep open on your calendar July 19th. I can't give you the details yet, but I can give you the date, and you can set your clock by it and get ready and hopefully claim a ticket to that when it comes around. But the contest we are running right now is called the Gas and Groceries Giveaway Sweepstakes. Grand prize of $2,500 in gift cards for gas and groceries. The Donald Trump economy is certainly going to be better than the Joe Biden economy, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to pay your bills for gas and groceries. So we're helping you with that. $2,500 to the grand prize winner, $500 to 2 other winners. Enter today at 989theanswer.com. Turns out you cannot just fly into a foreign country and demand to get into a secure facility, even if you are a United States Senator. Maryland Senator Chris Von Hollen tried that yesterday. He flew to El Salvador. Why did he do that? He wanted to go see the Maryland man, the Maryland father, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Kilmar Abrego Garcia has become, what is it? He's kind of the new Martin Luther King of the Democratic Party. He's like their new hero. So Chris Von Holland of Maryland and many other Democrats are very upset that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is among those deported to El Salvador, now housed in an El Salvadoran prison. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled that a couple of things. Number one, that Judge James Boasberg of a U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C., has no jurisdiction over this case. Nevertheless, Boasberg is still posturing. He's still scheduling hearings to what? Occupy lawyers' times with a case that the Supreme Court, the one that's above him, and says he has no sway over. Boasberg is still trying to litigate this case. And Democrats are more than willing to go public with the fact that they believe Abrego Garcia is unlawfully detained in El Salvador. Now, the shred of argument that they have is that in the two previous times, different judges said that he could be deported. They did say he could not be deported to El Salvador. The Trump administration comes back with the fact that Kilmar Garcia was in the country illegally for almost, 10 years before he was caught and actually questioned. And then he said, well, I need asylum because there's a gang in El Salvador that wants to kill me. I think the gang's name was Barrio 18. Well, Barrio 18 is not in existence anymore. Like much criminal activity in El Salvador, it has been eliminated by President Bukele of El Salvador, the guy who built the prison, the one you see on TV with every inmate has a shaved head, probably a tattoo on his face, a pair of white Crocs, white t-shirt, and white shorts. Nevertheless, Chris Von Holland flew to El Salvador yesterday to grandstand and to assure the citizens of Maryland, and no doubt other Democrats, that he is doing, as a Democrat does, everything they can to try to get Kilmar Abrego Garcia out of an El Salvadoran prison.
I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city. Looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. The goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home, and we're going to keep working at this.
So I don't know if he's still working on it, because he was denied entrance to the prison and he was denied entrance to talk to Garcia on the phone or on a video call. Now, Senator Von Holland's visit to El Salvador prompted the White House yesterday to stage an unscheduled press briefing, at which White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt disclosed some new information about Mr. Abrego Garcia that, shall we say, interrupts the narrative that Democrats are trying to spin about his unlawful and unjust detainment.
Abrego Garcia's wife petitioned for an order of protection against him
for
2 instances of domestic violence in May of 2021. The court ordered that the respondents committed the following acts of abuse. Once in May of 2021, assault in any degree. And on May 4th of 2021, he punched and scratched his wife, ripped off her shirt, and grabbed and bruised her. This is from a court in Maryland. So not only are Democrats rushing to defend an illegal criminal foreign terrorist gang member, but also an apparent woman beater.
There's more. Also, the Department of Justice yesterday released paperwork in which Mr. Abrego Garcia has been identified as an MS-13 gang member by 2 other MS-13 gang members. They gave his gang name and his gang affiliation, like not MS-13, but like there's different divisions in it. The Tennessee Star reported yesterday that in December of 2022, the Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Mr. Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man, the Maryland father, with 7 passengers in his vehicle. They suspected him of human trafficking these individuals from Texas to the state of Maryland. So they did what any responsible state highway patrol would do. They called the FBI. And unfortunately, Chris Wray was in charge of the FBI then, and the FBI directed, what do you think the FBI said? That's right. The FBI said that the Tennessee State Highway Patrol should release Mr. Abrego Garcia and all 7 of the people in his possession. How about that? Now, also at this White House press briefing yesterday, Caroline Leavitt brought somebody with her. Who did she bring with her? She brought a woman named Patty Morin with her. Patty Morin is the mother of Rachel Morin, who was brutally raped and murdered. How brutally did this illegal alien, not Abrego Garcia, but a different illegal alien, in the state of Maryland, Chris Von Holland's state? Chris Von Holland's never reached out to the Morin family, never expressed the slightest bit of sympathy or empathy or sorrow over the death of a mother of 5. This is hard to listen to, but it is nevertheless important to listen to, because here is Patty Morin describing how her daughter was murdered.
And they showed us pictures of her body against the wall, outlined, the blood outlined her body. And you could see where the blood ran down around her as he was raping her. And then he threw her down and raped her some more. And then he strangled her because he didn't want her to be able to live to tell the story. These are the kind of criminals President Trump wants to remove from our country. These are the kind of criminals that we need to remove from our country. We are American citizens. Why should we allow people like this, violent criminals that have no conscience at all, to murder our mother?
That's really hard to hear. If you're a praying person, pray for her. There's no other way she'll ever get comfort than to receive it from God above. She was on Fox this morning then and asked why she shared such gruesome details of her daughter's murder.
I shared those details yesterday because I wanted people to understand and to know and to see the truth that, yes, maybe some of these immigrants that are coming in really are seeking a better life, but there is also a majority amongst them that are criminals from other countries that have no regard for life at all. And I wanted people to understand just how brutal that they are and how they can just take a life without even giving it a second thought. And that this is a safety issue, and it is, I believe, a national security issue, having all these criminals in our country. And so that's the main reason why I shared it. It was extremely very painful. I was a mess the rest of the day. Yeah.
Understandably so. She is right. This is a safety issue. And the other thing she didn't say that is undeniably true, it is a totally preventable issue. As since Donald Trump became president, the number of people crossing the border like these criminals has been almost eliminated.
See cloudiness this afternoon, high 65. Cloudy tonight and a low 52. Partly sunny, windy, warm day tomorrow, the high up to 80. Saturday, clouds and breezy, shower and thunderstorm. We could see some strong thunderstorms, maybe even severe. The high Saturday at 71. Clouds and a couple of showers around on Sunday, high 66. Sunny, windy day for Monday, and Monday at 72. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Are you among the millions of Americans living with chronic pain? If so, you may think prescription opioids are the solution. The truth is, the benefits of opioids are limited. Opioids only mask the pain. Opioids also come with serious side effects, ranging from nausea to withdrawal symptoms to overdose. As many as 25% of people who are prescribed opioids struggle with addiction. And those who are addicted to opioids are 40 times more likely to move on to heroin. No one wants to live in pain, but no one should put their health at risk to be pain-free. There is another choice: physical therapy. Physical therapists treat pain through movement and exercise, no warning labels required, and you get to be an active participant in your care. Choose to treat your pain safely. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist near you. This public service announcement is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Time is running out. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime this summer? Join me, Mike Gallagher, along with Larry Elder on the Patriots Alaska Cruise, August 16th through the 23rd. This is your chance to experience Alaska's breathtaking wilderness while engaging in exclusive conversations about America's future with hundreds of like-minded patriots. That's not all. Special guests Jennifer Horn and Joe Piscopo will be on board for this once-in-a-lifetime journey. It's a summer vacation you will never forget. Now, staterooms are filling fast, so don't wait. Text the keyword travel to 94878 for details and the way to secure your spot. Just text travel to 94878 for this summer's Patriots Alaska Cruise. Explore majestic glaciers, fjords, and wildlife, all while discussing the most pressing issues of our time with hundreds of like-minded patriots. It's a wonderful summer vacation. Act now. Text the word travel to 94878 before it's too late.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves up there in Turkey.
They bullied us.
It was a nightmare. We felt stuck.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-989-1771. 800-989-1771. 800-989-1771.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2 to Retire Ready Ohio with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
If you're looking for new flooring, I would love to help you. I have actually dropped the ball on a very sweet couple near the station here, and I apologize to them last night. We had some things come up in my district, but I will get to them, and I appreciate their patience, and I appreciate all of you who have gone to brucehooley.com and have clicked on flooring and have given me the opportunity to quote you flooring. I promise I won't drop the ball with you. Learn my lesson. Very important to me. It's a great way for me to interact with you and to serve you. Met a great couple in Lancaster in the process of doing business with them, done business with some municipalities, done business with some commercial businesses. There's no flooring need that we can't take care of. And I would love the opportunity to meet you and help you, whether it's carpet, whether it is luxury vinyl plank flooring. We have our own installers. We can save you money. We can get you the exact same products of any big box store, even better. And as I said before, the most important part, save you money. Go to brucehooley.com and click flooring, brucehooley.com and click flooring. It's no secret we have a bunch of bad judges in this country. Of course we do. We had 8 years of Barack Obama nominating judges, and we had 8 years of Bill Clinton nominating judges, and we had 4 years of Joe Biden appointing judges. And so we're stuck with a bunch of bad judges, a bunch of activist judges. And one of them right here in the state of Ohio, the U.S. District Court, is Algernon Marbley. And you say, wait a minute, Algernon Marbley is going to retire, Bruce. You told me that he was going to retire. I did tell you that. And then I told you that he was going to unretire. Why? Oh. Imagine that. A week after Donald Trump was elected, Algernon Marbley withdrew his retirement papers. Because, hey, he thought Kamala Harris was going to win and become the president. And then, there would be another wokester appointed to his position, and he could continue to go on and legislate from the bench and issue inane rulings like the one that he issued yesterday, striking down an Ohio law that banned cell phones, or at least required minors to get their parents' permissions before they entered into contracts with social media companies. Algernon Marbley's decision is one of the most nonsensical, unspecific, random rulings, not only that I've ever read, but that could ever be concocted by someone purporting to know the law. He said, this court lauds the state's effort through the Act to Protect Children of Ohio, but it finds that the act as drafted fails to pass constitutional muster and is therefore constitutionally infirm. Okay, so what's his objection to the law that would have required social media companies to get parental consent before allowing children under 16 to use their platforms? Marbley said the law was either under-inclusive or over-inclusive. Don't you have to pick one? No, you don't. In fact, it's worse than that. He says the law was either under-inclusive or over-inclusive or both. You too can be a judge if you have a friend in the Democratic Party who will appoint you despite your glaring lack of qualifications. He goes on to say that he called the law requiring, again, children under 16 to get parental consent before using a social media platform. He said it was a, quote, breathtakingly blunt instrument for reducing social media's harm to children. Okay, let me tackle this for a second. Can anybody think of any other things that are breathtakingly blunt but are allowed because the intent is to reduce harm to children? I can think of a few. Children are not allowed. Why do we have ratings on movies, right? I mean, kids can watch a G movie. They can't watch an X-rated movie. Why do we put ratings on movies? We put ratings on movies because we deem, what do they say on the X-rated movie? Or even on the NC-17 or the R-rated movie? They say some content may be, oh, what is it again? Oh, that's right, inappropriate for children. So we allow a breathtakingly blunt assessment of some movie content to be inappropriate for children, but we don't allow that with social media companies. So what? Do we allow teachers to engage in sexual relationships with students? No, we do not. That is a criminal offense. It happens a lot, but we don't allow it. Not allowing it seems breathtakingly blunt, doesn't it? Maybe so, but it's meant to protect children. So Algernon Marbley trots out a justification for his inane ruling when there are myriad studies that say that Instagram, we got Instagram people who worked at Instagram, who worked at Facebook, who work at social media companies saying that they craft their algorithm. I haven't even mentioned TikTok, which is a Chinese spy operation. We know these social media companies gear their content to suck children in. I haven't even brought up Reddit or other apps that suck children down into the lie of transgenderism. Do we allow children under 16 to drive a car on the highways? No, we do not. Why? Because they might be a danger to themselves or others. That is a very breathtakingly blunt instrument for reducing harm to them. Are there some under 16 who could probably drive and be just fine? Yes. Do we make a blanket prohibition against it? Yes, we do. Why? For the greater good of humanity. This is just inane. And of course, there's a lawyer there from some social media, umbrella group, Net Choice, who said that, Ohio is restricting children's First Amendment rights by requiring parental consent to access social media sites. Yeah, we are restricting their access to social media sites, just like we restrict their access to certain movies. Just like we restrict their activities with adults who they say, no, I really like my teacher. I really don't think there'd be anything wrong with me sleeping with my teacher. We restrict that. Yeah, Dad, I'd like to take a car to the prom. You're 15. Sorry, can't do it. No, but that's a very, very breathtakingly blunt denial of my desire to go to the prom, Dad. Yes, it is. Can we shelter our kids? Can we protect our kids? Do we care about our kids? Do we mentor our kids? Do we protect them at all? No, I guess we don't. We don't. Algernon Marbley doesn't want to. We have, in the district that I serve, established a cell phone policy that does not allow cell phones from the time the bell rings in the morning to start school until the bell rings in the afternoon to end school. Now, this was, at the time we were implementing this policy, considered to be a policy that would probably bring us a lot of criticism from parents. Do you know how many complaints we've gotten about this policy? It's a nice round number. 0. 0 complaints. Do you know why? Because parents want their children's cell phone use restricted. Teachers, who we thought would object, did not, because turns out teachers like having the attention of their students while they are trying to teach them things that the teachers deem important for them to learn. The teachers have gone to college and learn how to teach. We should let them teach without the distraction of a cell phone. Algernon Marbley, maybe you should get on your phone and access some common sense law courses so that you would realize that the thing you say here nullifies this law are things that we do throughout our culture. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys have an awesome Easter weekend. I hope you focus on the true meaning of Easter, and I hope it is meaningful to you. And you have a great weekend with your family. And I appreciate your time when you devote it to, watching the show, if it's 5 minutes or if it's all 60 minutes of the first hour. If you want to watch the second hour, it's available online at the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page and also at 9890answer.com. Have a great day.